Hey guys.
Alright folks, if you click on this video and you're wondering, who the hell are Gates to Hell? Well, we were wondering the same thing, but that's kind of why we're here. Well, one of the reasons why we're here. The other reason is that these guys are embarking on a massive tour. I call this the tour, not the tour to end all tours, but the tour to start all tours, because this is the first big tour of 2024. Machine Head, Fear Factory, Orbit Culture, and Gates to Hell. Quite the lineup. So I was a little bit curious about who Gates to Hell is.
Yeah.
How the hell did they finesse their way into this incredible tour package? Then I found out that they just signed with Nuclear Blast. And then I was like, okay, so it checks out.
That's a good way.
Yeah, that's a good way to finesse your way into a tour that includes two massive Nuclear Blast bands. So, you know, my questions were answered from that standpoint.
Exactly.
But I'm still wondering what the hell they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah.
What kind of milkshake do they have? And it's going to bring all the boys to the yard. So
are they going to be the band that gets everyone, showing up early, like...
I hope so.
Tapping on the fucking window so they can get in? Like that.
It's history. The security there is pretty tight.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
The security there is tighter than a nun. It's fucking tight. So, anyways, Gates to Hell, Resurrected. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't blow their budget on special effects.
Oh, definitely.
So, safe to say that.
That looks like the videos in like early 2010s area where people were making like Mortal Kombat videos, like real life Mortal Kombat videos, and the fatalities were always terrible, like shitty special effects.
I didn't watch any of those.
I grew up.
So, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
What I'm going to say is going to sound like an oxymoron kind of thing, because it took me a little bit of time to get into it, and the song is only 2 minutes long.
True.
I don't know how can you say that and still make sense.
Dude, it took me the first...
It took me like a minute and a half to get into it.
Yeah.
The song is 2 minutes long.
The song is 2 minutes, but yeah, it took me a majority of the song to even start, like... Because the song had so many different changes. As I was kind of getting into it... Well, I'm going to lie, I lied to you just now, because when it started, I wasn't really into it.
I was into it at the start. It lost me a little bit there.
No.
As the song started, I was like, okay, this is good. As the song started,
I liked it, but then when the vocals came in...
It switched up for me, and then I was like...
Yes.
And I was like, what the fuck did they just do here? Like,
exactly.
They had something really good going on, and like...
Yes.
Why are they ruining a good thing,
Yes,
you know?
yes. And
this is why we can have nice
But then it
things.
just kept switching and switching and switching, so I didn't know... Like,
yeah, but the switches after that, I was good with all of them. It was just that first one that I was
The
not.
first one was long.
Yeah, it's just like I was like,
long.
what's happening
And
here?
also, there wasn't a bleh. He didn't say bleh. I swear to God, he said meh.
No, I think it was bleh.
I don't think it was bleh.
Which is bleh with an accent. Let's go with that.
Bleh, eh? That's like Canadian fucking bleh.
Bleh?
Yeah.
Bleh?
No. Eh.
Well, that's the new bleh for
Canadian
Canadians.
bleh.
So, like I said, it's kind of weird to say that it took me a little bit of time to get into a song that's only 2 minutes long. So, making my way beyond that, the moment the song started, I was like, okay, I understand why the label signed these guys. First of all, they have a sound that it's super popular right now. That caveman metal is what I call caveman metal. Those chugging riffs, that specific guitar toning.
But, and normally this caveman metal is not my thing. Like this type
like
of
200 Stab Wounds,
yeah, normally it's not
Frozen
my thing.
Soul.
It had some nice groove to it, so that's why I enjoyed it at the start. It lost me at the same point it lost you, and then when it came back, it had enough groove that it didn't bother me that much. Like the song itself, I enjoyed it because of just the grooviness of it. But like for something that's not normally my cup of tea, I enjoyed it.
Maybe the fact that it was a short song,
I think that also helped.
It helped you. I honestly felt like the song could have gone a little bit longer, but it had to keep some sort of I'm missing a word here. Some sort of sense of continuity, because you cannot have a song that's 3 minutes long or 4 minutes long if it keeps changing that frequently. It's just it's not gonna work. So if you're gonna do it in a 2 minute song, you can get away with it a little bit better. But anything longer, you have to offer some sort of repetition and continuity in order for the track to work. So the way the track started off, I was like, wow, this. Like I said, I get it. I see why the label signed them. A lot of labels right now are looking for bands with this specific sound, because it's a sound that's really appealing to, specifically in North America, super appealing. Like bands like 200 Stab Wounds, Fuming Mouth, Frozen Soul, super popular right now because they have this, what I call, and I'm not the only one that calls that caveman metal sound that has that's very specific guitar tone. That it's grimy, it's heavy, it's chuggy, it's all of the above. It's like it's a very specific sound that these bands have, that the guitars have, that encapsulates all of these different things, like groove, chugginess, heaviness, griminess. You just put it all together, and that's exactly how they sounded. And that's how the track started off. So I'm like, all right, like, okay, like I liked it because I'm a fan of the bands that I just mentioned. 200 Stab Wounds, Fuming Mouth, Frozen Soul. I'm a fan of all of those bands. So I like this sound. I'm one of those that I understand why labels are signing bands that sound like this, because I'm one of those that likes it. So I can see I'm not alone. Because it also brings some hardcore elements into it.
Yeah.
So it has, it's bands that have like death metal, have deathcore elements, and have hardcore elements. So they have all of these different elements from all of these different genres, and they work really well. The Spies Icon, they do it well too, but they're pioneers when it comes to that kind of sound and experience. So anyways, so as it started, I'm like, all right, I dig it, because I like that sound. I like that vibe. I like that sucking your own dick kind of sound. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's good. Then the vocals came in, and it changed the dynamic. And it became something very different. It went more. I don't want to say deathcore necessarily, but it kind of went a little bit more deathcore. Even with, and when I mean a little bit more deathcore, I mean a little bit more like old school traditional deathcore sound and vocals that a lot of bands have. Like I'm thinking of a band like The Convalescence, for example, has that very same style approach. And that style of deathcore is not something that I'm a fan of. You know, I like more bands like Lorna Shore and bands that use the symphonic elements, which now I'm getting a little bit fed up of that, because after Lorna Shore is like every deathcore band now wants to have that in their sound.
But if it's done right, then you can't hate it.
I know, but it just feels like it's a little bit overplayed now. It's
being overplayed now, and that's why Fit for an Autopsy, when it comes to deathcore bands, that's a band where I haven't really heard any other Fit for an Autopsies out there.
That's true. That's
a band that has their
That's
DNA.
a band that has their DNA. So I like bands like that. Fit for an Autopsy, you know, Signs of the Swarm, who else? Diarta's Murder, you know, all of those bands I really like. But the more sort of traditional deathcore sounding bands, and even bands that are not necessarily traditional, but that fall prey to those stereotype elements. A band that I can think of immediately that I just cannot, for the life of me, gravitate to is Brand of Sacrifice from Toronto. And I'm not saying that they're not a good band. It's just not something that I gravitate to. It's just not something that I like. And I felt that during that moment, they kind of went down that kind of path of bands that have that sort of sound that I just don't jive with. You know what I mean? It's just nothing wrong with it. It's just not my cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea either.
Sadly, I felt like it went too long. Once again, I can't believe I'm saying that it went too long on a song that's only 2 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. It felt like an eternity. Then when it switched again and it went back to that more traditional caveman groovy metal sound, groovy, heavy death metal sound.
Yeah, that's when it had me back.
Then it's like, okay, now you got me back again.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. And then the last portion of the song, I was really good with it musically and vocally. It was fine. It's just that pocket there that felt like it lasted longer than the song. That's my only issue, because it brought elements that I don't really like. I liked the beginning, I like the middle and the end. I didn't like that part there. That part a little bit lost me a little bit there. Now, if I listen to the song more, and if I listen to some of their other, this is my first experience listening to this band. I have never heard of them before. They just announced that they signed with Nuclear Blast. So I need to listen to a little bit more. And then it's going to be interesting to see them on this lineup, because Orbit Culture does not sound like this. Fear Factory does not sound like this, and Machine Head does not sound like this. Even though these guys have some elements that you can maybe try to find some sort of light at the end of the tunnel as far as the other bands are concerned. But I think,
you good?
Yeah, I think it's they're going to be a very different band from everybody else on the bill.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I came in not actually expecting them to be different. I expected them to be similar to one of the bands that you've mentioned before, so they can have a little bit of, I don't know, connection to the entire kind of, lineup. Yeah. Sorry, but it wasn't like a set in stone type thing where it's gonna be something similar. Like, no, it was more of like, it could be something similar, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's something completely different. So,
these days, to be honest, when I go to a show and there's 4 bands on the bill, I kind of hope that all 4 are different.
True,
because sometimes it gets a little stale. Like,
well, no, especially
like when
genre wise, I hope it's always different. Because certain genres,
like I've been to tour packages throughout the years. Last year, for example, where 4 or 5 black metal bands, 4 or 5 death metal bands. For as much as I like those genres, to sit there for 4.5 hours listening to 4 bands that pretty much sound the same, it's kind of boring.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of boring. I kind of like the ability to feel like each band is bringing something different to the table.
Yeah,
it makes the whole evening a lot more entertaining.
For as much as like when we went to see Catatonia, for example, and
oh, please don't remind me of that band.
Ghost, yeah, or Ghost. It was Ghost.
Ghost,
whatever it was that dude. It was them and some other band that I can't remember.
I can't even remember the other.
For as much as we shit on that night because what the fuck, and then Catatonia was good, obviously, but at least there was like some difference in it. Like, it wasn't like I was sitting listening to 4 Catatonias before Catatonia.
I know, but last time we saw Catatonia with Cellar Darling and the Ocean Collective, that's also all of them were different too.
But all of them were different too, yeah.
But at least those were different but good.
They were good, yeah.
So let's keep that in mind.
I should have used that one.
Yeah, I should have used that one instead. So anyhow, so what's the overall verdict on this?
I said I liked it. I said for something that I don't like, it started off good, and then finished off good. So something I don't really like, I think groove wise they did enough that it had me in there.
Vocally they're strong, and I really like. And
I like their look.
I like the look. I like the vocals. The drum sound was really good.
Yeah,
I like sometimes that drum sound had a little bit of like a hollow feel to it, which really works well. And the guitar tone is on point.
The length of the song is definitely what helps me out of this.
Which is more of a hardcore style.
Yeah, more of a hardcore style, which I also felt like at times the song did have kind of a hardcore style, especially the vocal.
Yeah.
Vocal wise, yeah.
But even the structure of the track too.
Very hardcore. I think that's also a reason why I like this song.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and the video was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was corny, but it was
good. It was good.
It was good.
All right, so guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you like this song, remember, these guys are going to be on tour with Machine Head, Fear Factory, and Orbit Culture. I believe starts January 19th or something like that. So anyways, around the corner. It's one of these days. They're going to... Wow, that's a Limp Bizkit song. It's just one of those days. Fuck, to be, it's been one of these days, like every fucking day this year for me. Anyways.
And Limp Bizkit are actually on tour this year.
Yeah, anyhow. I'm not super hyped about that. So, whatever. Whatever floats people.
You've never seen Limp Bizkit?
I've never seen them live, but maybe that's for a good reason.
Oh, come on. I feel like that's a band that you kind of got to see live.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be a good time. I just don't think it's worth the ticket price. Because it's going to be overpriced for sure. So anyhow, that's a discussion for a different...
all the money that you don't spend on tickets throughout the year.
Oh boy, just throw me under the bus. All right, anyhow, either that or try to find out somebody who knows anybody that can get me in.
Exactly.
So either one or the other. 50. It's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. So on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. We'll see you all at the next one.
See ya.